The stars looked different from here. Captain stood at the viewing window of his ship, watching the massive planet below. It was beautiful in a strange way. The atmosphere glowed with soft purple light, and 3 moons circled it like guards watching over treasure. His crew had been traveling for 6 weeks to reach this place. The home world had seen many alien worlds in his 15 years with the colonial fleet, but this was different. This was important. "Captain, they're ready for you," said Park, his second officer. She stood behind him with her hands clasped behind her back. Her uniform was perfectly pressed, not a single wrinkle, always made things look easy. Nodded and turned away from the window. "How do I look?" "Like a man about to ask aliens for help," said with a small smile. "That obvious?" "Only to me, sir." Adjusted his collar one more time. Earth needed the new colonies on the outer worlds were struggling. The gravity was wrong on those planets, too heavy or too light. Crops wouldn't grow properly. Buildings cracked and fell. People got sick from living in the wrong gravity for too long. They had technology that could fix it. They had machines that could change gravity itself. With those machines, the colonies could survive. Without them, millions of people would suffer, maybe die. No pressure, thought to himself. The shuttle ride down to the planet was smooth. Too smooth. Technology made everything seem effortless. When they landed, saw why they were so powerful. The city stretched as far as he could see. Buildings reached up into the clouds, all of them made from some kind of crystal that caught the light and threw it around in rainbow patterns. And they were everywhere. They looked like insects, but bigger, much bigger. They stood on 2 legs like humans, but they had 4 arms. Their skin was hard like armor, shining in colors from deep blue to bright gold. Some of them had wings that folded against their backs. "Stay close," told his small team. There were only 5 of them. 2 guards and a science officer named who couldn't stop staring at everything. Approached them. This one wore long robes that marked him as someone important. "Captain of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. His mouth didn't move right when he talked, but understood him clearly. "Queen welcomes you. Follow me." They walked through the city. Everywhere looked, he saw order, perfect order. Every seemed to know exactly where to go and what to do. No one bumped into each other. No one looked confused or lost. It was like watching a machine work. The palace was the largest building had ever seen. It rose up from the center of the city like a mountain made of crystal and metal. Guards stood at every entrance, but they didn't stop group. The doors opened by themselves. Inside was even more impressive. The walls seemed to glow with their own light. The ceiling was so high they couldn't see the top of it, and at the far end of a long hall, sitting on a throne that looked grown rather than built, was the queen. Queen was massive, twice as tall as any other had seen. Her armor was pure gold and her wings spread out behind her like a cape. She had 6 arms instead of 4, and each one held something different. A staff, a sphere of light, other things didn't recognize. "Captain," the queen's voice filled the entire room. "You come seeking help." "Your Majesty," said, bowing the way he'd been taught. "Earth comes in friendship. We hope to begin trade between our peoples." "You hope for more than trade," the queen said. "You need our gravity technology. Your colonies are failing." Felt his stomach tighten. She knew, of course she knew, that had been watching humanity for years. "Yes, Your Majesty, we need your help. We can offer rare minerals from our mining worlds. Scientific knowledge, cultural exchange." "We will discuss this," the queen said. "But first you will meet my daughter." Wasn't expecting that. Before he could respond, a door opened on the side of the throne room. A young entered and heard gasps softly behind him. The princess was beautiful. Even who found most hard to read could see that. Her armor was silver and blue, and it fit her perfectly. Her wings were crystal clear, catching the light like diamonds. Patterns of light moved across her skin in waves, pulsing in rhythm like a heartbeat. "This is my daughter, Princess L," the queen said. There was pride in her voice. "She is the finest of our people, perfect in every way, bred from the best genetic lines over 10 generations." The princess walked forward with grace that seemed impossible. She stopped in front of and studied him with large, dark eyes. "Captain," she said, her voice was softer than her mother's, musical, "I have studied your species. You are very different from us." "We are," agreed, "but we hope our differences can make us stronger together." "An interesting idea," the princess said. She tilted her head, and the light patterns on her skin changed color. "My mother believes connections between our species would be beneficial." Wasn't sure what to say to that. He looked at the queen, then back at the princess. Something in the queen's posture had changed. She was watching him very carefully. "The princess has been educated in 17 subjects," the queen said. "She speaks 40 languages. She is trained in diplomacy, warfare, science, and art. She will rule after me, and her children will rule after her. She is the future of our people." "Very impressive, Your Majesty," said carefully. "You will spend time with her while we negotiate," the queen said. "It wasn't a request, it was a command. You will see her value, you will understand her worth." Felt shift behind him. Something was happening here that he didn't quite understand yet, but he'd been a diplomat long enough to know when to nod and smile. "I would be honored to learn more about culture, Your Majesty," he said. The queen seemed satisfied with that answer. "Good. You will be given quarters in the palace. Rest today. Tomorrow we begin serious talk." As and his team were led away, he caught eye. She gave him a look that said they'd talk later, in private. Had a feeling this negotiation was going to be much more complicated than he'd thought. 3 weeks had passed since arrived on the home world. 3 weeks of meetings, discussions, and careful diplomatic language. 3 weeks of dancing around what everyone wanted, but no one wanted to say first. The negotiations were going well, too well actually. That's what worried. Every morning he met with trade officials. They discussed minerals, shipping routes, and technology transfers. Every afternoon he was expected to spend time with Princess L. They walked through the palace gardens. They ate meals together. They talked about their different worlds. The princess was polite. She asked questions about Earth, about human culture, about what made humans different from other species. She never said anything personal. She never talked about herself unless asked directly. It felt like an interview, like she was checking boxes on a list. "Captain," said one evening after the princess had left. They were in quarters, a large room with walls that changed color based on the time of day. "Do you see what's happening?" "I see a lot of things happening," said. He was tired. The day was 2 hours longer than Earth's, and it was wearing on him. "They're setting you up for something. The queen doesn't just introduce people to her daughter for fun. Among the meeting the royal family means something specific." "What does it mean?" Looked uncomfortable. "I asked to research it. In culture, when a potential ally spends time with a princess, it means the queen is considering a bonding." "A what?" "A marriage, sir. An arranged marriage for political alliance." Sat down heavily. "That's not possible. I barely know her. We're different species." "They don't care about that. They've studied humans. They know we can form bonds across species lines. Some humans have even married aliens from other worlds." "That's different. Those were choices made freely." "I don't think they see it that way, sir." Didn't sleep well that night. The next morning he was summoned to a private meeting with Queen, just him. No advisors, no witnesses. The Queen's private chamber was smaller than the throne room but somehow more intimidating. She sat across from him with all 6 arms folded, her golden armor catching the light from the windows. "You have been here for 3 weeks, the Queen said. "You have spent time with my daughter. What do you think of her?" Chose his words carefully. "The princess is remarkable, Your Majesty. She's intelligent, educated, and graceful." "Yes," the Queen said, "she is perfect. 10 generations of careful breeding have made her so. Every genetic marker optimized, every trait enhanced. She is the best of us. She's very impressive, agreed. Then you will marry her. The words hit like a physical blow. For a moment, he couldn't speak. The Queen continued as if she just suggested tea. The bonding will unite our peoples. You will have access to all our technology. Your colonies will be saved. Your people will prosper. My daughter will have a mate who represents the growing power of humanity. It is an ideal arrangement. Your Majesty finally managed. I'm honored truly, but I can't accept. The Queen's head tilted. The light patterns on her armor changed. Explain. I don't know the princess. Not really. We've had pleasant conversations, but that's all. Humans need time to form bonds. We need to choose our partners freely. Time is inefficient, the Queen said. My daughter has been briefed on human biology and psychology. She understands what you need. She will adapt to you. That is what she was bred to do. That's not how it works for humans, said. He was trying to stay calm, to stay diplomatic. We can't just decide to love someone. It grows naturally, or it doesn't grow at all. Love, the Queen made a sound that might have been a laugh. Love is a chemical reaction in the brain. It can be optimized like anything else. My daughter will be suitable. I'm sure she would be, said. But I need more than suitable. I need someone I choose, someone who chooses me. The Queen stood up. She was huge, towering over. You refuse my daughter. You refuse the future queen of the empire. I'm not refusing her personally, said quickly. I'm just saying I can't marry someone I don't love. It wouldn't be fair to her or to me. Fair, the Queen repeated. She was angry now, could see it in the way her wings spread out, making her look even bigger. What is not fair is rejecting a gift beyond price. My daughter is perfection itself, bred over generations, educated by the finest minds, trained in everything a leader needs to know. What could possibly be lacking? Nothing is lacking, Your Majesty. She's everything you say. But humans need something that can't be bred or trained. We need connection. We need to feel something for each other. You feel nothing for her. I feel respect, admiration, but not love, not yet, maybe not ever. The Queen stared at him for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was quieter, more dangerous. Why don't you love my daughter? The question hung in the air between them. Realized there was no good answer to it. How could he explain something so basic to his humanity to someone who thought love was just chemistry to be optimized? Your Majesty, my wife died 3 years ago. Her name was, she was a pilot in the colonial fleet. We met when we were young officers. We argued all the time at first. She thought I was too careful. I thought she was too reckless. But over time, we understood each other. We chose each other. Every day we chose each other. That's what love is for humans. It's a choice we make over and over. And you cannot choose my daughter. I don't know her well enough to choose her. And she doesn't know me well enough to choose me. If we were forced together, it wouldn't be fair to either of us. The Queen's light patterns had turned a dark red. I see, she said. You may go. Stood and bowed, but the Queen had already turned away. That evening found him staring out at the alien stars again. How did it go? Badly, said. I think I just insulted the most powerful being in this sector of space. What do we do now? I don't know, keep negotiating, I guess. Hope she understands eventually. But in his gut, knew it wasn't going to be that simple. The Queen wasn't used to being refused, and she definitely wasn't used to someone rejecting her daughter. This was going to get worse before it got better. Everything changed after his meeting with the Queen. The warm welcome disappeared overnight. The officials who had been friendly now barely spoke to him. Meetings were canceled. The technology demonstrations stopped. They're freezing us out, said during their morning briefing. Yesterday I tried to access the research library. My credentials no longer work. Tried to send a message to his science contacts. No response. The Queen is making a point, said. He hadn't slept well again. The walls of his quarters had turned gray, matching the mood in the palace. She wants us to understand what we're losing. Is it working? Asked quietly. Thought about the colonies, about families living under the wrong gravity, their bones getting weaker every day, about crops that wouldn't grow, about buildings that cracked and fell. Yes, he admitted, it's working. Spoke up from the corner. The young science officer looked worried. Sir, I've been thinking. With your permission, I'd like to try something. Those technology demonstrations they showed us. I took detailed scans. Maybe I can figure out how their gravity machines work. You think you can reverse engineer technology? Sounded doubtful. Maybe not fully, but something basic, something that might help. It's worth trying. Nodded. Do it. Work quietly. Don't tell anyone what you're doing. That afternoon, received an unexpected message. Princess L wanted to meet with him. In private. Not in the gardens or the dining hall, but in a small room used for quiet meditation. Almost refused, but something in the message made him curious. The princess had never asked to see him before. It had always been arranged by others. He found her waiting in the meditation room. It was simple compared to the rest of the palace. Plain walls, soft lighting, a few cushions on the floor for sitting. The princess stood by the window, her wings folded against her back. "Captain," she said when he entered, "thank you for coming." "Your Highness," bowed slightly. "Please sit. This is not a formal meeting." They sat across from each other. Up close, could see the light patterns on her skin were moving more slowly than usual. She seemed tired, if could get tired. "My mother is angry with you," the princess said. "I noticed. She does not understand why you refuse to bond with me." I tried to explain, said. "Humans need to choose their partners freely. We need time to develop feelings for each other." The princess was quiet for a moment. "Explain this to me. This thing you call love. My mother says it is just chemistry, just biology, but you say it is more." "It is more," said. He thought about how to explain something so basic. "Love is when you know someone deeply, when you understand how they think, when you want them to be happy even if it costs you something, when you choose them every day even when it's difficult." "Choose," the princess repeated. This word again. "Among my people, we do not choose our mates. The queen decides based on genetic compatibility and political value. Then we are bonded, and our bodies adapt to find each other suitable." "Adapt?" "Yes, I have been conditioned since birth to accept whatever mate my mother selects. When she tells me who that will be, my body will release certain chemicals. I will find them attractive. I will want to be near them. It is how we ensure successful bonding." Felt a chill run through him. "You mean you don't choose at all? You're programmed to want whoever the queen picks?" "Is that not efficient? It removes conflict. It ensures the best genetic outcomes. It serves the empire." "But what about what you want?" The princess tilted her head. "What I want is irrelevant. I am a princess. I exist to serve my people. My personal desires do not matter." "That's horrible," said before he could stop himself. "Is it? Among my people everyone has a role. Everyone serves. There is no confusion, no conflict. We all work together like parts of a perfect machine." "But you're not a machine. You're a person. Don't you ever want something just for yourself? Something that has nothing to do with duty or the empire?" The princess was quiet for so long that thought he'd offended her. Then she said very softly, "I do not know. I have never considered it." "Tell me about your mother's decision to match you with me. Did she ask what you thought?" "No, why would she? I am meant to bond with whoever serves the empire best. You are the representative of an emerging power. You would be a suitable choice." "How do you feel about that? About possibly bonding with me?" "I feel nothing yet. I am not conditioned to feel until the bonding is confirmed. If my mother orders it, then I will adapt. I will find you suitable." "You keep saying suitable, but do you want to marry me?" The princess looked confused. Want, I will do what is best for my people." "That's not what I asked." They sat in silence again, watched the light patterns on her skin change colors. He realized he was seeing something rare, a crack in the perfect surface of society. "You said you loved your mate," the princess finally said. "The one who died. Tell me about her." So did. He told her about meeting at the academy, about their first argument over the correct way to dock a shuttle, about how that argument had somehow turned into a friendship, and that friendship had grown into something more. "We were different people," said. "She loved risks, I liked planning, she wanted to explore, I wanted to build, but we fit together somehow. We made each other better. And every morning I woke up and chose her, and she chose me. That's what made it real. And when she died, it destroyed me. For a year I could barely function. Because love isn't just chemistry. When you really love someone, they become part of you. And when they're gone, you have to learn how to be a person again." "That sounds painful." "It was, it still is. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Those years with, even knowing how it would end, were worth all the pain." The princess was quiet, thinking, "I do not understand this, but I find it interesting. You choose pain over efficiency. You choose uncertainty over control." "We choose freedom," said, "even when freedom is hard. My mother says freedom is chaos, that it makes people weak. Maybe, but it also makes us strong in ways your mother doesn't understand. It makes us creative. It makes us resilient. It makes us human." A sound came from outside the door. Voices. The princess stood quickly. "You should go. If my mother finds us talking like this, she will be more angry." "Stood too. Thank you for listening." "Captain," the princess said as he reached the door, "this thing you described, choosing someone every day, no one has ever chosen me. Not really. They are ordered to accept me. That is not the same, is it?" "No," said, "it's not the same at all." He left her standing there, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something important had just happened. The princess had asked a question that her society had never taught her to ask. She had wondered what it would be like to be chosen. The message from Earth Command came through encrypted channels. Admiral Wu Jin's face appeared on the screen in his quarters, and he didn't look happy. "Captain, I've been receiving reports about your negotiations. They're not going well." "No, sir, they're not. The colonies are running out of time. We have settlements where the gravity is crushing people's bones. Children are getting sick. We need that technology, and we need it now." "I understand that, Admiral." "Do you?" Wu Jin leaned forward. "Because from here it looks like you're putting your personal feelings ahead of millions of lives. The Queen offered you a deal, an incredible deal, and you refused because of what? Pride. Some outdated idea about romance." Felt his jaw tighten. "It's not about romance, sir. It's about forcing two people into a relationship neither of them chose. It's about what kind of society we want to be. Right now, I want us to be the kind of society that survives," the Admiral snapped. "Take the deal, Captain, marry the princess. Save the colonies, that's an order." "Sir, with respect, you can't order me to marry someone." "I can order you to do what's necessary for humanity's survival. Figure out how that looks, Captain. You have 48 hours." The screen went dark. Sat in silence, staring at the blank screen. He felt the weight of millions of people pressing down on him. All those families in the colonies. All those children. All depending on him to save them. And all he had to do was give up his freedom to choose. Captain stood in the doorway. She'd heard everything. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." That night couldn't sleep at all. He kept seeing two different futures. In one, he married the princess. The colonies got their technology. People lived. But he became something he didn't want to be. A man who'd sold himself for political advantage. In the other future, he refused. Millions of people suffered, maybe died, and it would be his fault for not making the hard choice. Neither option felt right. The next morning burst into his quarters without knocking. The young scientist was exhausted, his eyes red from lack of sleep, but he was excited. "Sir, I think I've got something. It's rough, and it's not nearly as good as what they have, but I've figured out the basic principles of their gravity technology. I can build a prototype." "How long?" asked, feeling hope for the first time in days. 2 months, maybe 3, and it'll only work at about 30% efficiency, but it's something. It could help the colonies until we find another solution. "Do it," said. "Work around the clock if you have to. This might be our way out." But even as he said it, he knew 2 months might be too long. The colonies needed help now. That afternoon, he received another unexpected visitor. Princess L came to his quarters, but this time she looked different. The light patterns on her skin were moving fast, almost frantic. She kept looking over her shoulder. "I need to speak with you," she said quickly. "In private." "Close the door. What's wrong?" "I have been thinking about our conversation, about choice, about what it means to want something for yourself." She paused, and when she spoke again, her voice was shaking. "I do not want to bond with you." Blinked, "I'm sorry." "Not because of you," she said quickly. "You are kind. You are interesting. But I do not want to bond with someone who is ordered to accept me. I want what you had. I want someone who chooses me because they want to, not because they have to." "Your Highness, that's very human of you." "Is it wrong?" "No, it's not wrong at all. It's brave." The princess looked down at her hands. "My mother would not think so. In our society, personal desires are considered a weakness. We are supposed to serve the empire above all else. But you made me wonder, if I never choose anything for myself, am I even really alive?" "What will you do?" "I do not know. I have never disagreed with my mother before. I have never wanted to, but now," she looked up at, "you have changed me, Captain, and I do not think my mother will forgive that." Before could respond, alarms blared throughout the palace. Guards appeared in the hallway outside his quarters. The door burst open. "Captain," a guard commander said, "you are to come with us, by order of the Queen." "What's happening?" demanded. "You have been discovered in private quarters with the princess. This is forbidden without the Queen's permission." "We were just talking." "That does not matter." They took to the throne room. Queen was there, and she was furious. Her wings were fully spread, her golden armor glowing with rage. All 6 of her arms were moving, gesturing angrily. "You dare to corrupt my daughter!" The Queen's voice shook the room. "You refuse to bond with her, but you meet her in secret. What game are you playing, human?" "No game, Your Majesty. The princess wanted to talk, that's all." "Lies! You have poisoned her mind with your human ideas about choice and freedom. She has never questioned her duty before, never refused her purpose. And now, because of you, she says she does not want a bond." Blood ran cold. The princess had confronted her mother. "Your Majesty, your daughter is just discovering what she wants for herself. That's not corruption. That's growth." "It is weakness," the Queen roared, "and I will not allow it. You will bond with my daughter today, now, or your people will get nothing from us. Your colonies will fail, and it will be because of your stubbornness." "And if I agree, if I marry her against both our wills, what kind of alliance would that create?" "A useful one. Love is irrelevant. Feelings are irrelevant. What matters is power and survival." "Then we disagree on what matters most." The Queen stepped down from her throne. She loomed over, massive and terrifying. "You have 48 hours to accept my terms. Marry my daughter or leave this world. And if you leave, do not expect mercy for your people. I will ensure that no other species in this sector trades with humanity. Your colonies will die alone. You would let millions of innocent people suffer because I won't marry someone I don't love. I will do what is necessary to teach humans their place in this galaxy. You are a young species. You need to learn that there are prices for defiance." Was escorted back to his quarters under guard. His team gathered around him, all of them looking worried. How fast can you finish that prototype? Asked. Not fast enough, sir. I need weeks. We don't have weeks, we have hours. Looked at. Start preparing the ship for emergency departure. We may need to leave quickly. Sir said quietly, if we leave the colonies. I know, but I won't build an alliance on slavery, not mine and not the princess's. Later that night, a message came through on a private channel. It was from Princess L. Captain, my mother plans to force the bonding. She will use military power to keep you here. She will condition me to accept it to erase the questions you have made me ask. I do not want this. I choose not to want this. But I do not know how to stop her. I am sorry. Stared at the message for a long time. Then he made a decision. It was time to stop playing by the Queen's rules. It was time to do something very, very human. It was time to make a choice that might cost everything. The ship was ready, had worked through the night, managing to get his makeshift gravity device to a state where it might actually work. Might. The word felt too small for what millions of lives depended on. But first, had something else to do. Can we hack into the communication network? His second officer looked surprised. Probably. Their security is good but has been studying their systems. Why? Because I'm tired of talking to just the Queen. I want to talk to everyone. It took 3 hours but managed to crack their network. Sir, I can give you maybe 5 minutes before they shut us down, maybe less. 5 minutes is enough, said. He sat in front of the camera thinking about what he wanted to say. Then he started recording. People of, my name is Captain of Earth. Your queen has asked me to bond with her daughter, Princess L. It's a great honor. The princess is remarkable, but I have refused and I want to tell you why. Behind him was monitoring responses. They're listening, thousands, hundreds of thousands. Continued. I refused because neither the princess nor I were given a choice. Your queen decided we should bond and we were expected to accept. But among humans, we believe something different. We believe that the most important choices in life, like who you love and who you build a life with, must be made freely. 2 minutes, warned. They're trying to shut us down. Your society has optimized everything. You've created perfect order, perfect efficiency. But in doing so, you've lost something essential. You've lost the freedom to choose your own path. You've lost the ability to want something just because it makes you happy, not because it serves the empire. Thought about all the years they'd had together, about the pain of losing her and why it had been worth it. I was married once. My wife's name was, we chose each other. Every single day we woke up and chose each other again. We argued sometimes. We made mistakes. It wasn't efficient or optimized, but it was real. And when she died, it nearly destroyed me, because that's what real love does. It makes you vulnerable. It costs you something. 1 minute, said. His fingers flew across his console, fighting off the attempts to cut them off. But here's what I learned. That vulnerability, that cost, it's not weakness. It's what makes us strong. When you choose to love someone, really choose it, you're saying that this person matters more than efficiency, more than optimization, more than serving some greater purpose. You're saying they matter because they're them. Looked directly into the camera. Your princess asked me something yesterday. She asked if anyone had ever chosen her, not been ordered to accept her, not been conditioned to find her suitable, but actually chosen her. And I realized the answer was no. In your entire society, no one has ever been truly chosen. You've all been assigned to each other like parts in a machine. 30 seconds, warned. I'm not saying this to insult you. I'm saying it because I think some of you might feel the same way the princess does. You might wonder what it would be like to want something for yourself, to choose your own path, to be more than just a perfect piece of a perfect machine. 10 seconds. The princess deserves to be chosen. You all deserve to be chosen. And that's why I'm leaving. Not because your world isn't impressive, not because your people aren't remarkable, but because I won't be part of a system that treats choice as a weakness instead of a right. The screen went black, slumped in his chair. They shut us down, but the message went out. Millions heard it. Good, said. Now let's get out of here before the Queen decides to blow us out of the sky. But they didn't get far. As their ship lifted off, warships surrounded them. His console lit up with weapons locks. One shot and they'd be dust. Captain, incoming transmission, said. It's the princess. Elle's face appeared on the screen. She was in a control room somewhere and there were alarms blaring behind her. Captain, I heard your message. Everyone heard it, and I have made a choice. My first real choice. What did you do? I disabled the weapons on the ships surrounding you. I also opened a gap in our defense grid. You have maybe 10 minutes before my mother's guards restore control, but it should be enough time for you to escape. Your Highness, you're going to be in serious trouble. I know, my mother will be furious. She may even remove me from succession. But you taught me something, Captain. You taught me that being alive means more than just serving a purpose. It means choosing who you want to be. Thank you, said, for everything. No, thank you, for showing me that I could choose at all. The transmission ended, looked at his crew. You heard her, let's not waste this gift, get us out of here. The ship jumped away just as guards restored control of their systems. For a moment, thought they might pursue, but they didn't. Perhaps the Queen was too busy dealing with the chaos his message had caused. The journey back to Earth took 6 weeks. During that time, worked on perfecting his gravity device. It wasn't as good as the technology. It only worked at about 30% efficiency. But it was something. It would help the colonies survive while they found other solutions. When they arrived home, Admiral Wu Jin was waiting. He looked older, more tired. Captain, I heard what happened. I also heard your broadcast. It's spreading across human space. Some people are calling you a hero. Others are calling you a fool who condemned millions. What do you think, sir? Wu Jin was quiet for a moment. I think you made an impossible choice, and you chose what you believed was right. I don't know if it was the right call, but I respect that you made it. The colonies. Struggling, but your scientist's device might help. We're also getting offers from other species. Smaller ones without the power, but they're willing to trade with us because of what you said, because you showed them we're different. Different how? We don't compromise our values for convenience, even when it costs us. 6 months passed. The colonies slowly stabilized. As gravity devices helped and trade agreements with other species brought in new technology. It wasn't perfect, but people were surviving. Then one day received a message on his private channel. The encryption was, his heart raced as he opened it. It was from Princess Elle. Captain, I hope this message finds you well. Much has changed since you left. Your broadcast caused what my mother calls chaos, but I call it awakening. Many, especially the younger ones and those in lower castes, have begun questioning our way of life. They ask why they cannot choose their own mates, why they cannot pursue their own desires, why they must always serve the empire first. Read on, hardly believing what he was seeing. My mother has tried to suppress this movement, but it grows stronger every day. I have become a symbol of it, which troubles her greatly. She wanted to remove me from succession, but too many people support me now. So instead, she has been forced to compromise. Small changes at first, allowing some choices in certain castes. It is not perfect, but it is a beginning. The message continued. I want to tell you something, Captain. I have been thinking about your question, about what it means when someone changes not because they are programmed to, but because they choose to. I think I understand now. I am choosing to be different from what I was bred to be. I am choosing to value freedom over efficiency. And that choice, that ability to choose, feels like what you described. It feels like love, not for a person but for life itself. Felt his eyes water as he read the final part. You asked if I wanted to bond with you. The answer is no, but not for the reason you might think. I do not want to bond with you because I need to learn who I am first. I need to make more choices. I need to discover what I want, separate from what I was designed to want. Perhaps someday, when I truly know myself, I will find someone I choose freely, and they will choose me, and it will be real. Thank you for teaching me that such a thing is possible. Thank you for being the first person to choose differently for my sake. I will never forget it. The message ended with coordinates, an invitation to return to someday, as a friend rather than a political pawn. Sat back in his chair, looking out at the stars. Humanity's first contact with the hadn't gone as planned. They hadn't gotten the perfect alliance or the best technology, but they'd given something more valuable to a species that had forgotten it existed. They'd shown them what it meant to choose. And in the end, that very human gift might change an entire civilization. Not through force or negotiation, but through the simple, radical act of saying, "You deserve to decide your own fate." Thought about how she would have loved this story, about how she'd always believed that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our weapons, but our stubborn insistence that every person mattered, that every choice mattered, that freedom was worth any price. She'd been right. Out in the galaxy, there were species more advanced than humanity, more powerful, more efficient, but none of them could say they were more free, and maybe, just maybe, that made all the difference. Closed the message and smiled. Someday, he thought, he might take the princess up on her invitation. He'd visit and see what changes had taken root. He'd meet the people who were learning, for the first time, what it meant to choose their own paths. But for now, he had colonies to help, trade routes to establish, and a galaxy to explore, all on his own terms, all by his own choice. And that was the most human thing of all.